I think both you and your colleagues that age, kind of when it came out.
I mean, I don't know that I was too into the Hinkle part of it. I just thought it was a great story. I mean, for me, it was great to see. I mean, it's so cool to do a state tournament where you kind of combine all the uh, classifications. I know in Washington, a lot of times the highest, level classification, sometimes the best teams or even from the, maybe a classification down or two. So I think that story was just that story and how it all kind of played out and all that. I guess I wasn't too up on the historic significance of Hinkle and all that. It's a great building. They've done a great job since we last played there, kind of redoing it and refurbishing it.
Did you, I guess in the aftermath of that movie, did you see a lot of people running a picket fence?
No, no, not to my recollection. Maybe some modern day versions of it, but I don't know that it has any. I don't know if it goes back to the picket fence or not, but yeah, definitely not seeing it anymore now with all the ball screen action.
Thanks.
Our final question for Coach is from Andre Monroe, Insider Institute.
Hey, good afternoon, Coach. So there's been a lot of quote-unquote upsets in the tournament so far, and you guys are obviously the #1 seed. So have you talked to your team about that and kind of like prepared them and got them into the mentality to kind of know that teams are going to be playing the best against you?
I think the teams are going to be playing their best against everybody, right? I mean, if you lose now, your season's over. So, yeah, we talked. I mean, we talked all the way, going into our conference tournament. We always talk about that. There's a sense of desperation now, and you've just got to be ready to. There's no holding back now. I mean, there's literally no holding back. It needs to be your best mental effort. You can't be distracted by anything, whether that's, people telling you this or that, or frustrations you had from last game, or even lack of confidence or anything. I mean, you literally need to be your best, mentally, physically, spiritually, team-wise, everything. Because if you're not, you're putting yourself at risk to get beat. And again, I mean, I know, like, technically there were upsets or whatever, but I mean, when you really look at some of these teams, and I know coaches would tell you, like, I don't know that we view them as upsets. I just think we view them as like, man, it's a really good team, and they did this, and we weren't able to do that, and that's why we lost. So certainly now, as it gets whittled down to 16, these teams, every team in this is deservedly in this spot where they're at. And so, if you're not really, really good to great, then you're probably going home.
Thank you, Coach, for your time today.
Yeah, you bet.
We will be joined momentarily by Joel Ayayi. Please use this time to raise or lower your hand as necessary. We are now joined by Joel Ayayi, and we'll begin the press conference. Please use the raise hand function to indicate you would like to ask a question. When you are called on for your question, please state your name and affiliation first. Our first question is from Karthik Venkataraman, KREM2.
Hey, Joel, Karthik from KREM2 Sports here. It's kind of a little off-the-wall question, but you're known as the team prankster in the locker room. Can you tell me what your top 3 pranks in the indie bubble have been so far?
A prankster. I don't know. I just hide, behind walls and try to scare people. I think I got a couple of guys already. I just knock on doors and run. Kind of childish, but it always works. And I would just, tap your back on one side and you better turn on the right side because otherwise, I got you. I guess that would be the top 3 pranks I did as of now. I'm taking any ideas though.
If I have any, I'll forward them to Barrett to tell you.
Gotcha.
Our next question is from John Blanchett.
John Blanchett from the Spokesman Review. Joel, you were younger than most players when you came to Gonzaga. You went through a redshirt year and kind of played sparingly as a freshman. How did those years play into your growth as a player? And what can you say about Gonzaga's reputation for player development?
Yeah, I came really young, and I think Gonzaga is and was known to be a great program in terms of developing young guys. And even though I didn't play a lot my first 2 years, I knew that I was making progress in my game. I knew that I was getting better, and I think that's what matters to me. That's one of the reasons I picked Gonzaga. I trust that they would help me develop as a player, and that I would be one day ready, to get on the floor. And as soon as I was, they put me on the floor, and all the work that I put in, showed up.
Our next question is from Steve Cameron.
Hi, Joel. As long as off-the-wall questions are coming on today, I've got one for you. When national stories are written, and there have been thousands now about this Gonzaga team, they talk about the big 3 all-stars and superstars, and it's always the same guys, but they always cut it off at 3, and your name doesn't quite make it, and yet you're such a critical part of the thing. Does that bother you at all, or do you just laugh at it? Do the other guys needle you about it, kind of, and say, well, we told them to leave you out of the story, or what? Because given your role, just mentioning 3 guys on this team seems kind of unfair.
It does not bother me.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm here to play basketball, and I'm here to just win a national championship this year. I'm here to get better as a player, and the media attention is good for some and is bad for others. I don't really care. I'm not really a big fan of all that Twitter stuff and reading media. I'm fine with leaving this team as a big 3. I don't have any problem about it, but I just don't think that I'm really affected by any of that, or that I care that much. If you want to put me in there and call it a big 4, I'll do it. But I really don't really care about big 3 or big 4 or big whatever.
Thanks, Joel.
Yep.
Our next question is from Isabel Gonzalez, Mid-Major Madness.
Hi, Joel. Isabel Gonzalez, Mid-Major Madness. You guys have been ranked #1 all season, and you're still the favorites. Do you ever get used to that, or is it still something that, feels very special and unreal?
That's another thing, that is really good for Gonzaga fans, and it's really good for the media. But as a player and as a member of this organization, we understand that it's not about the rankings. It's really about what we do on the floor and getting better every day in practice. I think those are 2 things that really matters to us. Like I said, I love the fact that, the fans can enjoy and brag about the fact that we're #1 and that, we are as of now having an undefeated season. But this is really something that us as players, and I'm sure the coaching staff too, don't really care about. We mention it because we have to, and we have to acknowledge those type of achievements because we don't take anything for granted. But this is more a media and fans thing than a player and coach staff.
Our next question is from Brenna Green, KREM.
Hi, Joel. Brenna Green, Creighton 2 Sports. I asked this to Mark, but since you were there, I will ask you as well. Who was the best golfer on the team yesterday at Topgolf outside of Corey, and who struggled a little bit?
Yeah, obviously, Corey was at the top. I would say that I will start with the people that struggle because it's easier, but I know that Posh and Pavel, Martinez, Aaron, were Umar, we're kind of down there at the bottom. I know Will got a great swing. Matt got a great swing too. I have a decent swing. I got better because I was so bad that I